Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you can hear me, I see some of you guys are already joining. If you can hear me, go ahead and type a number one in the chat. Type a number one in the chat if you can hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. But good evening, everyone. So we're going to give you guys just a few seconds to hop on in here. If you're watching this in the replay, go ahead and hashtag replay. Yep, I'm talking to you if you're watching this in the replay. You already know how we do. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think we're in here. Yes, you can't see me just yet. So we want to make sure that everything is working. So give us a moment. But thank you guys for the one. So that means you can hear me. Hello, Kimberly, Regina. Welcome, Tracy, Donna, Nicole, Regina. And if you are connected with another AP, make sure that you go ahead and tag them or say, sis or bro, we are live. Let them know we are live. We definitely have a treat for you guys tonight. But also, can you guys believe we are on day 9? We're on day 9. We're on day 9. So this is so amazing, but also it is bittersweet because we're almost to the end, right? Now, I may have some bonuses and some extra things for you guys. Y'all know how we do team extra on this side, but nonetheless, it is day 9. So while we're getting everything situated on the back end, if you have made it all 9 days, if you have not missed a day and a night session, if you've been up at 6 a.m. with us, and if you have been on all of our night sessions, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat if you haven't missed a day or night. If you only miss maybe some night sessions, but none of the day sessions, you can let us know that as well. We want to know what this has been like for you. We're almost there, you guys. Making sure everything is working. Hey, Clinton. Hey, Selena. So I have a treat for you guys tonight. We have an amazing individual that's coming on to bless us tonight. And he said, hey, we can ask anything we want to ask. And listen, y'all better have y'all questions ready. All right. I see you guys coming on in. Okay, okay. There we go. All right. If you can see me, go ahead and drop a number 2 in the chat. If you can see my beautiful face, go ahead and drop a number 2 in the chat. Hey, girl. Hey. All right. Clinton says he has not missed a day or a night. I love it. Kimberly said this has been such a blessing. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So you guys can see me again. Welcome to the Never Give Up 10-Day Marketing Challenge. I am your girl, Katrina Nickhol, your accountability partner and business consultant. Welcome, everyone. And so most of you that are here are part of our challenge. You may be our top 100. So we only let or allowed 100 amazing entrepreneurs in this challenge. Why? Because number one, it was new, but number two, we wanted to make sure that we were able to serve at our best and our highest. And we just wanted to let you guys know that y'all made it. Y'all was the first ones. Y'all didn't procrastinate. You did not second guess. You joined us immediately and you've been showing up the whole way through. And I'm just so proud of you guys. Thank you for trusting us on this journey. Listen, I'm not sure how it would have been if somebody would have told me I had 24 hours to sign up for something that I knew nothing about and that didn't exist beforehand. But thank you guys for trusting me in this process and all of my friends that have been coming through. Thank y'all for showing up. Now, some of you guys, if this is your first time watching us, you may be like, what is this challenge? This challenge is a 10-day marketing challenge where myself and some of my friends have come in and literally just poured from marketing strategies to What else we did, you guys? Brand strategies, all the things that you needed in order to really get from out of the rut of being stuck, right? Going from stuck to unstoppable, going from being foggy to being just a little bit clear. But more importantly, a lot of you now have substance. You now have what you need in order to start building profitable and sustainable businesses, and you working on the right things. Okay. So thank you guys again for joining us. Tonight is no different. I am going to introduce you guys to somebody who's simply just amazing in my life and has brought so much value. I am just super grateful. That's all I'm going to say. And for them to say yes to come in out of their busy schedule, stepping away from doing other interviews and just running a multi-million dollar company, they came in to pour into my people, and I'm super super grateful for that. So I want to introduce you guys to someone in a second. I want to make sure everybody's here. If you guys are here and you guys are ready, type ready in the chat. Type ready in the chat. We got to be ready for when my guy comes on the screen. Let me know if you are ready. There we go. All right, all right. But I want to introduce you guys to somebody again that's been a blessing to me. Not only does he run one of the top social ad agencies around, this guy is just it's a wealth of knowledge. When I say a marketing guru, in my eyes, he is a marketing guru. He's helped people bring their visions to life, not only with what he does within his agencies, but the vision and the knowledge and skills that he has. When I say I have not seen anybody work as hard as he does for his clients, I legit have seen him put in the time, effort, and energy to make sure that his clients are successful. And that is a blessing to see. A lot of times you don't get to see that. You see people just working, or they say they're working, right? But I had a chance to witness a lot of his success in action, and it's been a joy. And I'm so glad to be connected, but I'm also glad that he saw fit to add me to his network, right? And my life has not been the same since. And guess what? I get to introduce y'all, my people, to him today. So without further ado, I want to bring one of my favorite people to the stage, Mr. Sam Bell.
Oh man, thank you,
Sam.
thank you, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for that illustrious introduction, man. I feel like I really got to bring the heat tonight, man, because the build-up was
Hey,
just
it was all true though. Listen, no lies. One thing about our community, we keeps it real.
uh, definitely. No, I'm excited to be here and happy to share, contribute. I've really had the fortune and the blessing to have the a level of experiences that I've had in this business. So any way that I can add value, I have a ton of different strategies and a few different ideas that I wanted to share. But I'm also here to give whatever people feel they need help with or insight with as well. And like I said, nothing's off topic. We can go as deep or surface level as we need to. So let's make it happen.
Did y'all hear that? If y'all ready, go ahead and drop some dollar signs. Y'all already know how we do. Drop those dollar signs because he said whatever we need. So whatever questions you guys have, make sure that you drop them in the chat. If we get kind of deep into a conversation and we did not see your question, make sure that you add it to the chat again. Okay, copy and paste it so we do not miss it. All right. So, Sam, really quickly, before we even jump into any strategies or anything like that, a lot of these individuals, of course, this is their first time hearing about you or seeing you. So, can you tell us in your own words just a little bit about yourself, what your agency does, and how you got into the industry?
Sure. So I'll give you a quick high level overview. So I've ran a digital marketing agency really since around 2009, 2010. I used to run it for my own software and information marketing company. I actually have a background in the real estate investing space, and that's how I kind of transitioned into this world of marketing. Started flipping houses back in Atlanta, wound up creating a course teaching people how to leverage social media and marketing to sell their properties, leveraging what we call Web 2.0. This is back in like 2007, 2008.
Mm,
And around that time, there began to be a shift, right? The 2008 crash happened.
yeah.
So there's a ton of foreclosures, and I was able to tap into that and wound up building the software that allowed real estate investors to find bank REO properties. And in order for us to get customers outside of affiliates, I started running ads on Google, and that's how I started buying paid traffic. Fast forward a few years, I started doing some consulting work with other real estate information marketers and decided that I really enjoyed that aspect of the business. And that's when I started the agency. And since then, we've had the opportunity to work with people in multiple industries, from real estate to coaching, courses, health and wellness, business, finance. I mean, you name it. We've had the opportunity to run the gambit, and across multiple platforms. So our agency builds, automated sales processes online, or better known as funnels to a lot of people, as well as not only doing the funnels and the automations, but also running the traffic, making the creatives, basically everything from A to Z to get someone from a cold prospect who don't know who you are to a paying customer and client. And we've been doing that for well over a decade now.
That's amazing. That's amazing. One of the things I've noticed about your agency as well is that you do help people from cold traffic to being highly sought after in the industry. And that's what you don't see a lot. A lot of times people are they're coming on the back end, doing ads and things like that, but you definitely have a niche for helping individuals start from the bottom up. And that's
Yeah.
amazing. Um, do you feel like you do or handle more coaches and consultants than
So we
most?
so we work with a few different type of people. I would say our primary um, avatar that we work with are people who actually have either courses that they sell
Mm-hmm.
and coaching programs. Okay, so those are
Gotcha.
probably the main two. We do also work with people who do provide services as well. So financial services, invention services, things like that. But I would probably say 80/20 is going to be primarily course creators and coaches for the most part.
I thought so. I thought so. So, Sam, tell us, let's kind of like go back a little bit because I know you've been in the industry, like you said, from around 2007. If you
Mhm.
had to do it all over again and with your agency and started marketing from scratch without any type of customers or clients, how would you market? What would be the first thing that you would do now that you know what you know now?
It's a great question. So I would find a need and fulfill that need. So a perfect example, and I that actually happened to me. I stumbled upon it by accident. So here's what happened. Back in 2008, 2009, there was no Facebook ads. Facebook existed as a social media platform, but if you wanted to buy traffic, the only place to go was Google at the time. Google was like
Mm,
the main person, the main company for traffic. And so what wound up happening was a lot of people started getting their account bans. Google did what we call they did like this huge sweep, and they started banning all of these accounts because people weren't compliant, meaning that you had to run ads a certain way. Your website had to meet a certain criteria. And so what that did was I was able to identify exactly what that criteria was and
mhm,
what was needed, what Google wanted to be able to successfully run. And so what happened was people knew that I was actively running ads, and they started losing their accounts. So they started coming to me
mhm.
to help them to be able to run compliantly. And we developed the entire process to meet the criteria of what Google wanted at that time. So basically, we were able to fulfill a need that was in the marketplace. So what I would do, even in today's market, was I would identify, okay, well, what is something that people need, and then fulfill that service. Now, the beautiful thing about today is that you do not necessarily even have to be the individual who does the work. If you
That's
can
true.
become the middleman, right? And you can say, okay, I have all of these people over here that are looking for people who can help them make video shorts, okay? And then I have this person over here that I know that does that, and they don't necessarily have all the customers or clients. I can really put myself in between and really kind of become that conduit, right? So I would find out what is a need in the market that people want, and then I will begin to fulfill that service. And then once I've been able to do that successfully for some people, then I would develop case studies and testimonials, and then I would begin to build a brand around that one particular service offering. and I would perfect it. I would get really, really good at that. I think one of the things that
That's
a
so
lot
good.
of entrepreneurs do, they get started and they've written going like 20 different directions, trying to do like 100 different things. And it's like to be successful, you just need to do one thing really, really, really well, and then
Mm-hmm.
build a brand around that one thing where now you become the top person where people are coming to you for that service.
Definitely.
And and that's a great way for anybody to start, and then it will open up additional opportunities, because then you'll begin to recognize, okay, well, now I did this service, but they also need this, they need this, they need this, they need this. And then now you can then provide those additional services either as an affiliate by connecting them with other people who can fulfill, or by doing what we call white labeling. If you identify good service providers, you can add those services under your
Yep.
brand and resell them.
Yes, I love that. And what they're saying in the chat, a lot of our APs and our neighbors, for those who don't know, APs are, it stands for accountability partners. So in one of our communities, we call ourselves or call each other APs. And in our other community, our Six Figure Street community, we call each other neighbors. And so
Right.
that's what they're saying in the chat. They're saying that a lot of you guys are saying the same thing. And so what they're hearing now is not to do all the things, but to do the right thing. And so you said a couple things. If you want to dominate, you have to pick a problem and solve it and go all in with it and dominate, right? So you can be sought after, but also you'll be able to see other things that may be needs in that industry, which how you can help the individual. And so that's what they're saying. But yes, do something really, really well. So that
Exactly.
was so good. That was so good. Now, what we've been struggling with, not we, but a lot of individuals have been struggling with in regards to this, is being able to focus on one thing and not feel like they're leaving people out. And so you did mention a topic that we just talked about on yesterday, which was avatar. And so tell us what your definition of avatar is and how would you explain that to someone who's a beginner?
Sure. So an avatar is really an identity or a persona of a person that is the ideal demographic and psychographic to purchase your product or service. So once you identify a market that you want to go after, and you identify, okay, um, I want to sell this type of product or service. Well, who are the people that are buying that? What is their avatar? What are their
Mhm.
demographic? Are they men or women between a certain age group? And then also, what is the psychographic? Like what type of what are they into? What type of books do they read? What type are there softwares that they utilize, right? So then you can start to build a profile based on their interests as well as their demographic, and then that's how you begin to establish audiences and from a targeting standpoint, right? So when we transition into advertising, you need to have a clear idea of who your avatar is, so that way the messaging that you write can connect at a very emotional level, so then that way they will be
Mhm.
compelled to take a specific action, right? But if you're not clear on your avatar, you're not clear on what are their fears, what are the things that keep them up at night, what are the things that they're into, and like who are they, it becomes very difficult to communicate directly to them. So when we talk about like ad copy and messaging, it's really identifying who is that individual and being able to craft a message that's going to resonate directly with that individual, that's going to compel them to take the specific action that you want them to take.
That is so good. Let me ask you guys in the chat. How many guys recognize anything that he said just now? How many guys have started doing that? Because y'all should have been doing your homework over the last 2 days. He basically confirmed and gave you some tips on how to do your homework. So we have been giving them action items of what we call homework every single day during the challenge. And so by the time we get to the end, they should have a whole entire profile of what this actually looks like. So thank you for confirming that for them. But my question, I have a B clause to that
Okay,
question.
let's go.
How would you share or tell someone that is new in this space how to identify their avatar? Like, what would you tell them to do, or what tools or resources would you give them to find their avatar?
Okay, it's another great question. So there are a lot of ways to identify the avatar. The first thing is, once you first, if you know like what it is that they're buying. Okay, so what is it that the avatar buys? Or if you have an idea of what it is that you want to sell. So I'll give you a perfect example. Um, in my market, I sell to people who are coaches, right?
Mhm.
So then I have to think about, well, okay, well, what are some of the things that people who are coaches in the marketplace would do? And let's just say I would even want to niche it down further and say people who are business coaches. Okay, well, business coaches that fits a certain demographic profile. So
Mhm.
I can go to LinkedIn, I can type in like that title and look for business coaches. Then I
That's
can
good.
take a look at their profiles and see, okay, well, what type of skill sets do they have? What do they endorse? What type of content do they post? I can also go to Google and do a search. Business coaching books, business coaching tools, and then what I'm looking for, what I'm looking
Sorry.
for. No, that's all good. What I'm looking for is I wanted to see like what type of books are showing up, right? I can even go to Amazon and Google like business coaching books and see what are some of the top authors. I can look at business coaching resources. What are some of the different software and tools? And then I begin to document that. And then once I identify other sites that show up through paid ads, and the reason I say paid ads because if you actually do a search and people are spending money for advertising for those specific keywords, then you know that there's money to be made. And then now I'm going to reverse engineer those websites. And there's sites such as Spy Fu. There's other competitive keyword sites where you can look and identify other keywords and other competitors that are advertising. Then I would then take those people who I know are spending money on ads, and then I would go to the Facebook ads library, and then I can actually go and identify and see if those people are also advertising on Facebook. Then I can look at their ads, I can look at their creatives, I can click on their links, and then I can reverse engineer, see what their landing pages look like, what type of offers are they putting into the marketplace. So you can actually do this research and you can do a whole compilation of the competitors, the type of products and services that they're offering, the type of messages that they're offering, as well as the type of creative that they're using to get people to take action. And then I can then adopt that for my own use and purposes, and then add my own spin, put my own unique messaging, my own mechanism to make it unique to me to then take that into the marketplace.
I love that because it reminds me of something I always tell them, follow the strategy, but don't copy the story. Like you can
Mhm.
copy the strategy, but don't copy the story. The story is yours.
Exactly.
And you have to understand what's going on in the industry. And this is where we were talking about you guys, your competitive analysis, right? Understanding what your competition is doing, even if they're not, your equal in regards to someone that you believe, is on your type of time or on your level, it's still great to know what is going on so that you can get there. All right. So if you guys have learned something, if you picked up what he put down so far, go ahead and drop some dollar signs in the chat. Let us know. So far, we got some awesomes and some whews. Listen, they taking it all in. This has been an impactful week. We've been doing sessions at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then we have a night session with you guys at night. So when I tell you, Sam, they are coming in and they are, when I say they are doing the work and they are showing up, it's been really dope to see it.
So I
So,
want to go ahead ask your question.
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I wanted to share one thing because I think another thing. I know that you had mentioned previously that y'all talked about you had conversations around offers, right? Because
Mhm.
regardless of whether you have a brick and mortar business, whether you have an online business, everyone has an offer that they sell. Give you an example. If I am a nail tech, my offer is, you know, I can do a full refill for you, and and it's like $50, whatever. Like that's an offer. If I sell business coaching services, I'm going to help you show you how to scale your business, and take you from 5-figure months to 6-figure months within the 90-day
Mhm.
period. That's your offer, right? But
Mhm.
the thing that if you have a new offer, meaning that you haven't sold it yet, or it's something that you want to test in the marketplace, there are very strategic ways that you can leverage the power of advertising and the internet to test your offer, to test your messaging, as well as build your audience simultaneously. And I think it's probably one of the most effective as well as least expensive ways to get really clear on what messages resonate, as well as to have people self-identify and self-select themselves as someone that's going to be interested in potentially purchasing, right, what it is that you're selling, right? Have you guys talked about list building as well?
Um, yes, we went over the topic, but we definitely would love to hear your point of view.
Okay, excellent. So one of the things that you can do to rapidly test, and this is speaking specifically to running paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram. Now, most people are familiar with Facebook and Instagram because they're scrolling and they may see some ads, or they may see people that post content and post videos, and that's fine. You should post content and post videos, but you can actually be a lot more strategic with that and create videos and content that's going to be specific to your avatar and specific to your offer. For example, if I'm in a coaching space, I might want to create content explaining to coaches 3 ways that they can generate more leads for their business. And
Mhm.
typically, what I'll do is I will create anywhere between a 3 to 5 minute video that's really more so a content video where I'm giving very specific information, and then I'll have a soft call to action at the end of that video for them to get a report or to get in a more elaborate training on that. Okay. And then what you can do is you can create a few different variations of that video. You can create maybe 3 to 5 different variations that may have different angles, different hooks. And when I say angles and hooks, these are like different messaging that might resonate with the audience, right? So there's more than one way to say something that will resonate with the avatar. They might have different pain points. So your avatar
Mhm.
that you're targeting may have different pain points. So you want to speak to different pain points in your content. And then you can actually run ads as what we call video views, okay, to that content. And then if you're running 3 to 5 minute videos, one of the most valuable resource online is attention. So if you're able to capture people's attention and they consume that content, then the beautiful part about that is you can begin to segment people. So for example, if I put together a 3 to 5 minute video and someone consumes at least 25% or more of
Mhm.
that video, then Facebook would allow me to create a segment of audiences based on the consumption level of that content, right? So now these are people who are raising their hands saying, hey, look, I watched, you got a minute or more of my time. I'll watch your content, give me
Yep.
more. And then now you can run ads to those individuals and have very specific call to actions to, again, get on your list, get a report, watch additional training, whatever it is that would add value to them. That's going to have a very low commitment level with a very high perceived value, right? So it's a good strategy to test offers and see what messaging is going to resonate with your market very inexpensively. I mean, you can do this $2, $3 a day with video ads.
That is so good. It kind of takes us back into the validation we were talking about. I want y'all to type the word validate in the chat. Type the word validate in the chat. So that's one of the things we do. We engage. We talk back to each other, even if it's in the chat. And so one of you guys, what we talked about with them was validating, like what you were just sharing. Sometimes it takes for you to do the 3 to 5 minute, and then what it do, it will give you data, and that data will allow you to be able to figure out what you're going to do next, right, and what your next move should be. And so that's what we were talking about with that. So thanks for validating that with us. I have two other sides I want to talk about in regards to that.
Okay.
So, for instance, I have individuals on the line, and because all this information now is new for them, they came in and they knew for a fact what they wanted to do. But now that we start sharing all this information, they feel like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing now. I don't know if I still want to do the same thing I was doing. Do I want to do something different? I am like confused. I'm foggy. Katrina, help me. Like, what would you tell somebody who's now second guessing what they're doing because now they're receiving substance?
So I would say validate your idea. I mean, do not shy away from it. If you believe that you have a good idea for a product or service or business offering, before you just get rid of it, validate it, take it to the market, see how people respond. Take the information that you learn here, and because I can understand like over 10 days, there's a lot of information, a lot of different things
Mhm.
coming at you. Just pick one thing, test it, see how it performs, and then you can move on to the next. So if you're not sure, you can just do what I just said. You can literally put together some content videos, put it out, see if people respond to that. You can have a small call to action. Hey, DM me if you want to learn more about this, about how I can help you, or DM me if you're interested in buying this product, right? So you can put that out there into the marketplace, and then based on how people respond, then you can determine if it is worth continuing to pursue. So, be willing to spend a little bit of money to get data to then establish if it's worth it or not. And that's going to be the simplest thing to do. So don't get rid of your idea, validate your idea, and if you determine that it has legs, then continue to move forward with it and focus.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this because we asked a couple of our other guests this question. How do you know when it's no longer a good idea? Like you just need to let it go, sis. You need to let it go, bro, because it's not working.
So that's a good question. And I'm going to say it depends, right? Because
Mhm.
everyone has a different risk tolerance and threshold, right? And
Mhm.
so if first and foremost, are people already buying it? Are there people in the market for your product or service? Like that's kind of like the biggest thing. Like if this and this kind of goes into the levels of market sophistication. Okay. And what that means is that if no one's ever seen a product, I'll give you a great example, right? When the iPhone first came out, there was no smartphone, there was no app store, there was no frame of reference, right? So everyone who saw that was a level one. We were all neophytes when it came to smartphones. So everyone was in awe of that. So it didn't really even matter if it had all the apps and memory. We were just like, man, we've
That's
never seen
true.
this thing before.
That's true.
I want one, right? So the market's not sophisticated. Fast forward to today,
Mhm.
now we're going to evaluate what's the camera look like, what's the space does it have, how many apps. So it's like all of these different things. Well, now the market is more
Mhm.
sophisticated. So it's really going to depend on what it is that you're selling to the market. Is it something that already exists and that there is a market for it and people are buying it? And if there is a market and people are buying it, the question now becomes not if it's a good idea. It now becomes how can you position yourself in a marketplace and how can you create a unique mechanism? And a mechanism is something that differentiates your offering from someone else. Perfect example. If I have a iPhone, right? Then
Mhm.
okay, well, I know the iPhone has certain features like iCloud, right? Now I'm personally not an iPhone user, but I'm just want to use this as an example of a mechanism. Well, Androids don't have iCloud, so that is something that is unique to the iPhone. So if you
That's
want to
true.
get that functionality, if you want that unique mechanism, you can only get that with that particular product, right? Another example is there are certain brands out there that they have things that are unique to them where they can charge premium pricing because they have a higher perceived value. It may not necessarily be a higher intrinsic value, but because they built a brand around it, now they're able to differentiate. So if there are already people in the market selling this product or service and you know that there's a market for it, think about how can you create a mechanism and a brand and a story around that that's going to differentiate you from other people in the marketplace and then focus on selling that to the people.
Say that last bar again because that was a whole entire bar. How can you separate? You said that mechanism, that
Yeah,
brand, and that story.
yeah. And it separates you, and then that's what you sell. You sell that, right? That's
You
the thing you
feel
sell. It's not
that.
it's not the product.
That's so good. All right. So, because I know sometimes we can be in la la land. I know at one point in my business, I was delusional. You couldn't tell me I didn't have the best product or service until I got around somebody that had a really good product and service. And I felt like I wasn't doing nothing. And then at one point, I was saying, hey, I just need an agency. I just need a marketing agency. I just need a social media manager. I just need all these things and I will be successful. Right.
Right.
And that was far from the truth. So, like, what would you tell someone who believes that's what they need right now in this beginning phase?
So no, first you have to prove that you have an offer that converts. That's the first. See, everything starts with the offer, right? So if you have a good product, you have a good service, you know you can fulfill in that, you know it can help people. That's the first thing, right? And
Mhm.
then once you know you have a good product or service that can actually deliver a result, then you need to structure your offer in a way that people are buying. You should be able to sell your offer organically before you even think about running
Those were
ads.
words again. He said two words that we've heard the whole time: an offer, organically, validate, avatar. Again, yes, June, foundation.
It's all foundational stuff because if
Mhm.
you don't have the foundational stuff and you go to spend money on ads without even proving that you have an offer that converts organically to a warm market, I mean, it's a waste of money. And I'm not gonna say it's a waste because you're getting data, but if you haven't
Mhm.
already validated it, it's better ways to do that. If you have an email list, if you have a text message list, right? Pull out your phone, sell to your warm market, start creating content, putting things out there, and build an audience. Now, if you have the budget, there are some people who have more financial resources than time, then that's fine. Allocate a budget, put some ads behind it, test it, validate it, and see if people respond to it. But the
Mhm.
offer is really going to be the core thing, right? If you have a good offer and you know people are buying that offer, then now you want to amplify, because ads are really just an amplification of good organic, right? If you're able to
That's
create
good.
good good organic content or good organic creative and people respond to that, then that same avatar audience will also respond when you begin to amplify it with ads.
That's so good. If you guys have found any value in what he said so far, go ahead and drop some dollar signs, because I almost wanted to go off screen real quick and just pull out my notepad and my pen, because these are some amazing gems. Thank you so much, Sam, for that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I want to go and divert to another side of it real quick before we get off here tonight, because this has been so good so far. Because one of the things I believe too, a lot of people are not prepared mentally for what they're working on or where they're looking to go. Again, they think that it is really someone giving them a simple strategy, and that again, if they can get in front of an agency of someone who can do this for them, then that is it. But a lot of times too, it's all about how we are preparing ourselves mentally for the road ahead. So what would you say to someone who, or I would say, what experiences have you had with individuals that come to you? They may have the money or they may have the resources, but they're not ready mentally to be able to allow you to do what you need to do in order to do your job. But more importantly, maybe they're just not ready for that type of success. I'm sure you experienced that.
All the time, people self-sabotage, or will have a win and then they want to pull back. And so a lot of that revolves around belief systems and really
Mm,
reprogramming your mindset for the success. I think most people fear how powerful they are, and that's why they never really live up to their full.
woo.
And so you have to do the work. Entrepreneurship is a journey. It's a journey just not from a business perspective and products, but it's also a journey of self discovery, because for every level is going to require you to elevate, and you will run into ceilings that
Mhm.
test you. The way that just God and the universe works is, before you can get to here, I need to make sure that once you get here, that you're not going to fold. So I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna strain you. I'm gonna make sure that you're able to sustain when you run up against this brick wall here. And then once you break through, then I know, okay, you're good. You can sustain
Yeah.
here, and then you're going to hit another one, and then another one, and it's just part of the journey, right? Like, the person you have, think about not who you are, but who
Mhm.
you have to be in order to earn six figures a month, right?
Woof.
So if you're operating in who you are now, it's not going to happen. You have to think about, what would Katrina do to earn six figures a month? What does their day look like? How do they operate? How do they think? What do their habits look like? What do their eating habits look like? What do their exercise routine look like?
Mm.
Okay, and then start being that now. There's a great book called "Be Your Future Self Now." I highly recommend it. It
Mm.
gives some really practical things to help you evolve, right? Because we're always thinking about all of these things that we want, and we're constantly living in the future, but we're not being the person that we need to be in order to become that. So, that's a good way to kind of trick your mind into the belief, because you're now going to begin to operate as if you are that person today.
Oh, that was so good. Whew. And that's that belief system. I mean, they saying
Especially,
it's so much so much confirmation. Yes, come through future self. I mean, it's levels to this. It definitely is. It's levels to this. And I love how you were saying that you got to prepare now for where you're looking to go.
correct.
And I always tell people, if you can't handle, you know, your household right now, if you can't handle the one virtual assistant you have right now, do you really think you're ready for the team of 10, 20, 25? Like it it only gets, I won't say it gets worse, but it only, a lot of the tests and a lot of the responsibility just gets greater. It
Yep,
does. So I always say honor where you are and grow where you are and allow God to develop you on this path and
exactly.
on this journey. So that was so good. Yes. And so now let me ask you this personally, Sam. Like, when you have people that come to you like that and you find that they are stuck, and because you, I mean, I know that's what you shared with us, but how do you navigate that in this business? Because I know sometimes it can hinder you from doing your job. And so sometimes we have to turn into coaches, or we're like, we have a good momentum here. And now this person is trying to get you to stop running ads. They're trying to self sabotage things. Like, how do you personally handle that with clients?
So that's a great question. So one of the first things is that before we work with people, we qualify first. And so,
Mhm.
which is why we don't work with everybody, because we know they're not ready. I try to always add value to people based on where they are, even if they're not at the point where it makes sense for them to work
Mhm.
with us. And we've also developed programs where someone, they're not ready for like a full service, like, okay, look, we have it done with you, where we'll help you and we'll provide you with a lot of the training and the resources, but you got to do the work to get to this point. And then once you get to this point, then we can help you go to the next level, right? So we have offerings that kind of fit and meet people where they are, but
That's good.
before we take people on, we have to qualify. And a lot of times, if people aren't a good fit, you have to be comfortable with saying no. A lot of times, what happens is, especially when we're just starting off, we're doing money grabs. Like, well, I got to pay bills, I got to do this, so I'm gonna work with anybody and everybody. But what winds up happening is you wind up suffering in the long run. And I've learned it the hard way.
Mhm.
I've worked with some people that I know I shouldn't have worked with, some people that I was a little skeptical of, and all money not good money.
That's right.
So you have to think about that and take those things into consideration. So first, qualify people, and do not be afraid to say no to people. As much as it may pain you, in the long run, is going to help you. It's always going to be quality over quantity, especially when
That's
your
right.
time and energy is involved.
That's good. That's good. Y'all heard that? Qualify your people. And I know some of you guys may be saying, I'm barely, stand above water, so I need all the clients I can get. But sometimes that comes at a risk, right? As at a risk of you being able to do your job properly, but more importantly, at a risk of you, self-sabotaging relationships, right? Or sabotaging relationships because you wasn't supposed to take them on anyway. So I love
Exactly.
that you said qualify your people. All money ain't good money.
Mm-mm.
Is not. Is not. What was the book title? One more time. They asked what the book title was.
Yes. Be your future self. Be your future self
Was
now.
that Benjamin Hardy?
That's it. Dr. Benjamin Hardy.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right,
it.
Arica. Oh, listen, look, now my people are readers. They are readers. We wasn't readers at one point, but we're readers now. So I love it. So what
Yeah.
would you tell them in regards to, I have two things and then we'll be out of here. Okay,
Okay.
because we'll be talking all night. But what would you tell them in regards to just staying connected to the right people during this season and during this time as they're growing and develop? Because a lot of times they'll get this information and then they'll run, right? And try to do it all themselves and things like that. What would you share with them in this season?
So that's a good question. I was actually having a conversation with someone earlier about this, and so it was really about having like the right and core relationships, right? So
Mhm.
the way that I operate and the way that I think about it is like I have like my immediate relationships. My immediate relationship being like my family, my immediate family, my mother, father, kids. Like so that's like your immediate circle, right? And then outside of that immediate familial circle, like you have like your inner circle, like your friends, the people that have known you, for 10, 15
Mhm.
years, they show up, that they're loyal, they know they're going to look out and support you no matter what, right? And then outside
Mhm.
of your inner circle, then you have like your immediate like business circle. These are the people that who you do business with or done business with. You can count on them. You know that they are dependable. They're going to do what they say they're going to do. And then outside of your immediate business circle, then you have like your associates, acquaintances, and people that maybe you have not maybe done business with. You maybe know who they are, but you want to kind of stay plugged in because you know that they're good people to be around. And then you have like your events and masterminds, and that's where you actually go to develop a lot of these relationships. So, like you put together this challenge, a lot of the people that are participating here, they should also continue to have those relationships because those relationships will continue to grow and they will
Yeah,
nurture and support each other, through time. So, surround yourself with the people that are on the same mission, and also understand too that there's some people that maybe for a season you're not going to be around, okay? And you're going to have
good.
to cut off, and you just need to be willing to have those conversations and say, hey, look, I love you. We're homies, all this and that. But look, I'm working on this right now. So, I'm not going to be around that much. I'm not going to be able to go out and hang right now. I'm not going to be able to go hook up and do whatever because I'm working on something. And so I'm going to put my time and energy with those people that are on the same path that's going to help me get from where I am to where I want to be, right? Because if you're trying to do something different and your behavior and the people you're surrounding yourself with are not conducive to where you're trying to get to, you're self-sabotaging yourself, and that's not going to
That's
work.
right.
So you
That's
got to be
right.
willing to cut ties and develop new relationships in order to go to a new place.
I love that. And that's why we're APs. Can y'all drop hashtag AP in the chat? Hashtag APs, hashtag neighbor. Yes, because it really, really matters. Because one of the things that why we created our communities was simply because as we were going throughout this journey and becoming who God created us to be, as we were launching our God ideas and just really being obedient to what God has told us to do, everybody didn't understand that. Everybody couldn't recognize that. Everybody could not support that. And so our communities allows us to support each other where we are during this time so they don't feel alone and feel like they're crazy with their experiences. But more importantly, these individuals support them sometimes better than their own families, and they've never
Yeah,
met them, personally, face to face, a day in their life, right? And so it is vital. It is super important, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Yes. Now, speaking of that, I just wanted to segue into that because that was something that you did for me. You connected me to some amazing individuals. And I'm gonna try not to get emotional on here today because it definitely changed my life. So it is one of the reasons why I'm here and I'm able to pour back into other people because people like you saw something in me and allowed me to be a part of your network. So I want to say thank you publicly
absolutely.
for
And I'm
that.
proud of you. I'm proud. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all the progress you made. I see you out there changing lives. I'm like, man, that woman is ordained. I call you the prophetess. Name for you. Look at the prophetess out there doing her thing, man. So I'm proud of you, definitely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I plan on continuing to do so. Just like you guys pour into me, my goal is to continue to pour into them. But let me just ask you this in regards to that. How did you even get the idea to form such an amazing organization of individuals? Like, how did you even start with that? Because I know some people were like, well, how do we get in? So listen, I didn't say you getting in anything. What I'm saying is, how did you start?
So so early on, being in this space, there wasn't a lot of people that looked like us, and
Mhm.
so when I would go to events, because and I'm a big advocate of like going to events and meeting people, seminars, and so I would go to these events, and I would probably see like the same, few of us, and I'm like, man, and one day we were at an event, I'm like, man, we need to just start a group where we can just connect with each other, and we can just build a relationship and just pour into each other and help each other and support each other. That's so it was no organic thing. It wasn't like,
Mm.
okay, we're going to start this thing. Like it would just, let's create a place for us, a safe space for us where we can have real conversations, talk how we talk, culturally relevant, but still about business in this marketing space. And it just kind of organically grew. And people invited people, and we developed kind of a vetting process to where it's like, okay, well, who is this? And there was again qualified, right?
Qualified, yeah.
Quality over
Yeah.
quantity, right? So people were qualified, and the people who qualified, then we brought them in, and that's how the network just kind of grew and developed.
That
So
was
those are
amazing.
things. Yeah.
Yep, ordained. So again, that's I pray that you receive God's blessings tenfold from your seeds and your obedience in that as well.
I received that.
Amen. Now, as we're wrapping up, again, thank you again so much for pouring into them. It was some amazing content tonight, and you validated a lot of what we shared over the last 10 days. And so, thank you for even doing that. And you didn't even know that's what you were doing. Because again, I know my lane, I know what I do. And so I was even hesitant to say, like, do I want to do a marketing challenge? Like, God, you really want me to do a marketing challenge? And then as I did it, and then again, you guys came on, and you guys are the people I go to, right? You mentor me. And, for you guys to validate that and share and pour into our people, it was amazing. So, one last thing before we get off of here, if you could leave them with any type of marketing tips or Clinton say, what strategies are there to develop pricing to present an offer? What strategies are there to develop pricing to present an offer?
So, in terms of pricing is concerned, the market dictates the price. Okay. Now, one of the things that you can do is to do some competitive analysis and determine to see what other people are charging for similar products and services. Okay. And then once you've identified that, then you can begin to price test and see what the resistance levels are, right, in terms of the pricing. So, for example, in a coaching space, if I'm selling a course, I already know that, most info courses will probably sell anywhere between $9.97 to $19.97, sometimes $24.97, depending on the niche, right? And you can test that based on your market and see where the price resistance happens, and where the drop off is. So do some competitive analysis and research, see what other people are charging, and then test the prices to your market when you're selling to whoever your target audience is.
That was good. That was good. I had seen that question come in right before I was about to ask my last question. So, yeah,
Okay.
anybody got any other questions? If you do, go ahead and drop them now. Go ahead and drop them now. So, my question was in regards to, again, you starting this whole process. If you had to give one more tip, one more tip of something that you would have done from the very beginning, um, since you know what you know now, what would that one gem and that tip be?
So this is not a sexy tip, but I think it's a very important tip. Is to pick one thing and focus. Like just focus. Don't be because there's so many distractions and there's so many opportunities. Once you identify a market, once you identify a product or service, and you validated that product or service, meaning that you know that, hey, there's potential and opportunity here, take the time to nurture it, right? A lot of
Mm,
times in this space, we do not put in the work to really nurture. Like we'll try one thing and we're like, oh, that didn't work. We off to the next thing. It's like, no, like that's not how it works. When you plant a seed in the ground, you have to water it and need sunshine. Like it takes time.
that's so good.
You got to put in the time. So once you identify what that is, nurture it and be consistent, right? Show up
Mhm.
every day and be consistent. Even if you're still working a 9 to 5 and you're trying to transition into this world, be consistent. Do something in your business every single day. Take the time
Mhm.
to outline the things that move the needle because a lot of times we get busy doing busy work. Don't do the busy work. Do the
Mhm.
hard work that's going to move the needle. And at the end of the day, never lose sight of what business is. Business is you're in the business to make money. So if you're not making money with what you're doing, then you might need to take a step back and make sure that you are doing income producing activities.
There it is. The third day, IPA. Go ahead and type IPA in the chat. income producing activity
All day.
all day long. That was so good. So, tell us, what are you working on? How can we find you? Do you have anything coming up that we need to be aware of? Let us know.
So, I mean, I'm going to be, just speaking at a few different events. My main focus right now is obviously still the agency, the social ads mentor brand, the Sam brand. So that's my main thing. I'm building that
Mhm.
out, and
Love
it's
it.
really, and we're more focused on the SaaS side. So we transitioned from a traditional fee-based agency to where now we're actually provide a software platform and automations. And so basically, our goal is to help people who are ready to go to the next level to develop, their funnels, to develop their automations, to build out their ad campaigns, to make sure that they're done properly, and then help them actually grow. So to educate them, show them the proper KPIs. How do you track? How do you do all the things necessary so that you can go from making $5,000, $10,000 per month to 50 to $100,000 per month, and actually having the proper infrastructure in doing that, and then also creating strategic partnerships with the right people who are ready to scale up to seven figures or more. So
I love that. Do y'all hear that? Scale up to seven figures or more. So when you guys take all of these gems, these things that we've been teaching you over the last 10 days, and you're ready to scale up, right, to six figures or more, seven figures or more, we have people right here in our community, in our network that can help you. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to focus? Are you ready to focus on one thing? Are you ready to master something? Are you ready to dominate in your lane? Not everybody lane, your lane. Are you ready to dominate? If you're ready to dominate, go ahead and type dominate in the chat because that's what we're doing here.
absolutely.
Yes, we got a whole bunch of readies. Come on. So again, thank you so much, Sam, for coming on in. Those gems were so good. And listen, we may have to get you to Jacksonville one day soon because
I'll shoot up there. I'm right down in
listen,
West Palm, so I'm not far.
oh, you're not far. Y'all,
Mhm.
neighbors and APs, if we had something here, would you guys want Sam to come and join us on the stage? Let me know. Would you guys be willing to listen and do the work? Because y'all see he gives you work to do. Would y'all be willing to do the work? Yes, Felicia, it is IPA, stands for income producing activity.
That's right.
They said yes. Clinton say, I'm there. Nicole said, definitely. Yes. So you guys, y'all keep praying. So when God open up the door for us to have something, we definitely want Sam to be in the building. Yes, somebody said definitely. Awesome. They said, thank you, Sam. I'm not sure how much of the comments you can see, but they are going in. Absolutely. So again,
I'll
thank
put
you. How can we find you on social media?
Social as mentor, socialasmentor.com. I'm social as mentor on Instagram, social as mentor on YouTube, social as mentor. You can Google it.
Awesome. I love that too. And it's so fitting. It is so fitting. Well, if you need anything from us, you let us know. I appreciate again you coming on tonight.
Absolutely.
And we would love to have you back again one day.
All right, let's make it happen. Take care, everybody.
All right. Have a good day. APs, make sure you do your homework, and I will see you guys at 6 a.m. in the morning. Bye.